Did we sleep really good last night?
I actually did. Not gonna lie, I slept great. even though I lost, I slept great.
I was exhausted. I went home and I passed out.
Okay, so I'm the only one that didn't sleep good last night, and part of it was because I was thinking about this throughout the night. So 1 point, a cool way to finish the series. So get up this morning. It's Sunday. We're starting the whole thing over again. You guys go out and the cool part about today and different. You guys were the first race out. It was a little cool this morning. You know, I think all of us were wondering kind of what it was going to be like, but reality was you guys got out there and just put it down. I mean, right off the bat, you know, here it's going to happen. So let's talk about the start. And I got to feel that I know somebody who wants to talk about the start because, Jeff, that was a start.
Yeah, no, it was a great start. I was sitting on second on the grid. I saw Pearce go, and I went, and I actually beat him off the line. I'm not sure if he had first time of the season. I'm not sure if he had an issue. I'm going to say he didn't because I felt good about it. Went into turn. I know he tried to challenge me. I saw him come next to me in turn one, but I wasn't going to give it to him. I was going to late break if I have to, and overslow him if I had to, and I think we entered turn pretty slow because we were battling on the brakes, and it went from there, and I led for a while.
So from there, you took off pretty good. Now, there was another guy who usually I've seen your starts throughout the year and just bolts right on out of there. The anti-bolt was going on Sunday morning. So
Yeah, and I know what happened. Earlier in the season, especially, we had a different start. This is excuses here, right? This is just gonna be a big excuse train at this point. We had a different starter, and for some reason, I was just able. He would do the setup just one way that seemed to work for me, and he would just flinch right before the flag went, and so I could just get that good launch, and it wouldn't be a jump start. It was just perfect. For some reason, with this starter, like the last couple of rounds, I've been having issues with just the way he does. That might just be a total excuse. I feel like it's legitimate towards myself, but it was just he went up, and then it was just he does it really abruptly, throws the flag, and so what ended up happening on my end was I pretty much let the clutch go, and it was just a little too much, and so I knew my revs were going to come down too much, and I might stall the bike, and so I pulled it back in to save that, and then I had to let it out again. So it was kind of like doing a start twice, and I knew I recovered it fine. Like Jeff said, we kind of came into one together, but I was in pole position. He was behind me, so he managed to make it in front of me because of that. But that was the first start I blew of the season, so hopefully we won't do that again. Maybe he was getting my head. Maybe the pressure cracked me.
Picked a fine time to do that, though. Yeah. So right off the bat, it kind of sets the stage where you're all of a sudden, you got to go out chasing, and you get a great start. And as we saw, you did something with that start because you had your head down and you were taking off.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to set the pace, and I just wanted to go. I was fighting. It was a little sketchy. I felt like I was fighting traction issues. I almost lost it out of 9. The rear tire skipped out of me on 9, so that got in my head a little bit. But I was definitely just trying to. As soon as I regained traction, I put my head down and started just going down the straightaway, and focused on staying ahead.
So. What we had seen was that you had gone through right off the bat and got a pretty good gap on Pearce. And from the start of it, what we saw was a pretty darn good gap. And you had some ground to make up, but we saw that you did make up ground. And it didn't look like Jeff was slowing pace. It just looked like you were picking up pace and coming up to him. So how did that, what was the deal?
So I was thinking this actually during the race. I'm like, oh man, everyone's going to think that he just pulled away from me this entire lap. The first lap, I was on him the entire track. And then I was trying to catch him coming out of turn 9, and I had way too much entry speed and totally blew the exit on the corner. And so he pulled what felt like 2 seconds on me, just going down the straight. And so that's where that huge gap came from, was that one corner when I blew 9. So at that point, it was playing a game of catch up. I went into turn 1 and just super late. And at that point, it was just a matter of playing catch up in all the corners. Luckily, like he said, he blew a 9, so that kind of evened the ground out. at that point, we went down the straight. We were catching the guy on the 1,000cc bike. Pretty much from there, we did a whole lap behind him, and just Jeff couldn't quite make a pass. I was just kind of dawdling behind him, waiting for that to happen.
But you guys actually, I don't know if you realize this, you guys caught the 1,000cc bike pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the fastest I saw this year that you guys caught up to the pack. So then you're flying up to the guy. You finally get to him, and it's you in the front. So what happened up front with him?
Yeah, so we caught the what's one? I think so. Yeah, we caught one. We caught the first 1,000. Made the pass on him, I think in 4, and started going down the back straight. And then we started coming up on the second 1,000, and was looking for a pass on them. I was kind of timid going into 1, trying to pass him. So I was going to set him up for 2 and try to make the pass there. It didn't happen, so I tried to go around him on 3, and that's kind of where I was really trying to put I know this race was basically the showdown. I really wanted to put a good race on for everyone, and put a good race on for Pearce and make him earn it. Unfortunately, when I was trying to go around 3 on the 1,000, Joe, who's a really, really great guy and a good racer, he lost the front end and low-sided right in front of me, and I didn't have much of an option. Tried to avoid him and the bike. I missed the bike, but didn't make it past Joe, and I actually hit Joe. Luckily, he was okay, but I ended up crashing.
Wow. So what we know watching was one thing. We just know that Pearce came around, and not only were you not in the lead, we didn't see you. So we kind of went into that freak out mode, and you had what happened to you. So
right.
we're all freaking out, and Pearce, you had a front row to it.
Yeah, it happened right in front of me. Like Jeff was describing, we were all tight basically going into 1. Like Jeff said, he wasn't confident that he could stick the pass on Joe, because he's on a 1,000cc bike. He had more speed going into 1. He had that little bit of a gap, even though we were kind of in a draft of just the 3 of us. And so we went around 1, 2, and then going into 3. Joe, I could tell, it happened very quickly, but his bike was just pushing out a little bit, and then he ended up losing the front end, washed out. Jeff was trying to make that outside pass on him in 3, like he described, and that's what I saw, and it just wasn't enough room or time, since he was trying to get close and get around, for him to make really an evasive move. The little he did, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot other that he could do other than lay his own bike down, not to run over Joe. And so for me, I managed to just tighten the radius of the corner and avoid them as they're going that way. I'm trying to go to the left, and that's pretty much what happened in 3. From there, it was quite a wash of emotions for me. We've all put in so much work in between rounds and all year, coming out here, learning to be better riders, pushing each other, doing everything we can with our bikes. I realized at that moment, I was like, I won. It wasn't how I wanted to win, and it was emotional for me like that. So I went from doing my lap times were like 112s, low 113s, to I was doing like 116, 117. I lost like my motivation to push or do anything. I knew I just had to kind of mail it in, and after seeing Jeff go down, I wasn't sure if he was all right. Kind of a lot to deal with.
There was a feller out there that was sad to see it happen. Wasn't so sad to see the 116s and 117s, because Andrew Lane got I think it was his first victory. And he's a good kid, and it was neat.
Has he won before?
Has he won? Has he won here before? Okay. Because but to see that smile on his face, and I will say, you guys have to know this, because you weren't down there when I was. I saw him when he came in the pit, and I wanted to congratulate him. And his first thing, the helmet off, was not a smile on his face. He was concerned about you.
Yeah.
He did, realize what kind of a race, it was. But I let him know, hey, from the other perspective there, he had his head down.
Yep.
He was doing what he's supposed to do. He ran hard and he went and run a race. So congratulations to that guy. And by the way, congratulations, Pearce, because you did work really, really hard for it. It's an earned victory, and none of us wanted to see it that way, but it was earned. We all wanted to see what we saw yesterday, and I will say, I know from both of you guys, you both wanted what happened yesterday, maybe one with a little different result than yesterday, but we knew we wanted that close thing that was coming down to the end. So congrats to both of you. And Jeff, you had a great season and great efforts.
No, it was fun. It was fun. I had fun.
Yeah, so it was an emotional thing for all of us, because I got to say, it has grown into a family. We've got really close. We spent a lot of time, all of us together. So I will say one thing. I'm just glad that we're here tonight. We're all here. Everybody's in good condition. Jeff wound up taking that same bike out and ran in Sportsman afterwards, and
he beat me in Sportsman. Yeah.
so he did good with that. So it ended good. We've had a good night, and it's been a good season. So thanks to both of you guys, and thank you guys all for watching, and keep watching the rest of the series. We've got more to come. We're still playing the rest of the year, but for OMRRA and this year, we're done. And come out and watch the races. So thank you guys.
All right, first of all, thank you to the corner workers, board members, everyone that makes this happen, especially the extra volunteers that stepped up today and made it so we can race. Thank you to my beautiful wife and my family for allowing me to do this, and all you expert racers that are willing to give us novice racers tips to get faster and allowing us to go in the other classes to allow us to chase you and help us race faster and safer. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't normally try to take too long during these, but this is the last podium of the year, so my last chance to really say thank you to everyone who's made this a successful year for me. First of all, I'd like to thank my main competitor, Jeff Toevs. He really, I mean, just pushing each other back and forth the entire year. I mean, we started out the season basically doing like 120s, 118s. Next round we came back and we're doing 116s. Come back again, 114s. Here at the end of the year, last 2 rounds, we've been pushing into the 112s. And I know that we wouldn't be able to do that as novices if we weren't just constantly pushing each other, knowing in the off season that we had to come here completely prepared, or we wouldn't be successful against each other. So I wanted to thank him first and foremost for that. Secondly, I'd like to thank Cody Cochran with SUG Racing. He coached me this Friday. We worked together once before. I absolutely learned so much with him every time. He's just one of the best teachers out here, I think. Also like to thank Dave Moss Suspension Tuning. We were able to remotely diagnose just over text message some suspension problems I was having. Came back this weekend, everything worked great. Thanks to my family, my girlfriend Brooke, and my teammates for always supporting me, allowing me to do this. Thanks to all my sponsors, Larry Lule with Rise Done Right. Thanks to all my competitors, to the board members who make this all possible, the volunteers as well, and a special final shout out here to Pat O'Connor, who from the start of the season believed in me and continued to pass along his wisdom to all the new novice racers. I know it's because of him that I was able to win the Novice 600 overall championship this year with 0 crashes for the whole year, so thank you.
First off, these guys here for awesome year. It's fun chasing you guys down. Definitely look forward to it again. It's good times. I want to thank my girlfriend for helping me out today. Huge shout out to Andy and Elizabeth for all the help. Couldn't do it without you guys. And look forward to next year.